The most evolved planet of our solar system is our world, the Earth's sphere. And contrary to the assumption, in the other planets of the system, for example in Mars, or in the Sun, there are not more evolved beings than the ones in the world. Although Mars is one of the evolved planets of our solar system, the beings here are less evolved than the ones in the world. One of the most backward planets of our solar system is Pluto. The most evolved being of this planet is more backward than the most backward being of our world, which is fungi. Likewise, the Sun is a backward sphere of the system as well. Actually, the beings in duty, who govern the other planets of the system and especially the world, rather exist in the Sun because the simplicity of Sun matter makes it easier to manipulate. However, as we have said, these beings in duty can circulate in other planets as well. And they can execute duties in every sphere. Thus, in our solar system, the place of gathering, where beings live who have completed the developmental stages of the hydrogen cosmos, and upon receiving their diplomas, are to be promoted to the higher cosmos, is the Earth. Our world has now started preparations for opening the gates of the cosmoses deserved by the mankind the world carries upon itself, and who are about to complete their duties in this cycle of the past 70,000 years, that followed the closing of the Mu cycle, and to close the gate of the hydrogen cosmos which exhausted its possibilities, behind them. Life on Earth is a complete complex of motions and events. Mankind who is immersed and stuck within these events, sometimes sees around opposite events, contradictions, and they assume them as disorder. However, this vision is wrong, and a result of misinterpreting the events, especially because of the lack of knowledge about the causality principle. The ones who look at the world through the power of knowledge, which helps to connect the effects of the events to their causes, are soon to see that there is an immense harmony, and an orderly sequencing in its every state, every event and every being, from its smallest particle to its whole. Orderly and devised occurrences of the bonds of causality, put into effect the great universal harmony. So, in order to observe this harmony, it is necessary to think upon the relations of causality and cause between all the events, which lend mankind the intuition that every motion and event are directly and indirectly interconnected through infinite bonds, and to try to see and hear something in this field. In order to ensure this thinking and vision, it is necessary to review the knowledge we previously gave that nothing is without a reason in the universe and everything concludes. There, we have given sufficient knowledge about the causality principle. The ones who follow this principle as they examine life on Earth, can see many events and states of occurrences which are interconnected, as one concludes another and another causes the other, within a successive and harmonious flux. Devices, schemes and actions which advance towards great purposes within this flux, make mankind feel intensely the existence of a great harmony in the universe. Take a small bird egg, for instance. Taken by itself, this simple bird egg has innumerable ordered and devised states, which are connected to each other by immense results. Let us trace the life of the egg which is connected to this great harmony. In time, a hatchling is made out of this egg. In order for this hatchling to develop, it has to be kept at a certain degree of warmth for a while. For this, some influences are sent to the female bird from above, from a plan which is engaged with this deed. This bird has some instincts under these influences. As a result of these instincts, she patiently sits on the egg for a while. She ensures the seed in the egg grows up to be a hatchling, by her body warmth. The order and sequencing, governing a few links of the chain of cause and effect we listed so far, are obvious. This is the expression of a great harmony. To disregard or underestimate the hatchling which is just out of the egg, and not even a drop in the immense universe, is very wrong. It should be remembered that this hatchling is a part of the universe as well, and for it to live and grow up, The parts of universe assigned to its lot work continuously. Nevertheless, the hatchling is still a simple, inexperienced beginner. It does not know how to eat or fly, it does not recognize its enemies, it does not see the dangers, it cannot determine from where or how it will obtain its food. Therefore, as a newcomer to the world, if it is left alone it cannot live and it dies. However, it needs to live and do some deeds. Because of this, someone is needed to teach and make it to do these deeds, and this someone will be the female bird, which helped it to come to the world. However, this female bird cannot think of this and appreciate this need of her hatchling. Then, the intervention of the beings in duty in the evolutionary order starts, and such influences are sent to her that, because of the instincts put into effect by those influences, the female bird cannot but feed and teach her hatchlings, and this time, even sometimes putting her life on the line until they can take care of themselves. The hatchling needs to live, and for this, influences are needed to be sent to the female bird from above. 4. That hatchling has come into the world to fulfill the developmental need of its being, in the state of a bird in the world. And by this means, it will render all necessities of the bird body, and gain all of its refining experiences, within an automatic mechanism, and be a vehicle for the applications of some other beings around it, through its relations with them. The necessary devices for all these deeds will be established with the assistance of the beings in duty, and so, the bird will give and take whatever it needs to give and take to and from the world. After all of these have happened, it is now necessary for it to leave the bird body. 4. It now has started to feel the need of reaching the possibility of further development. In order to ensure this possibility, a new device is needed. Those beings in duty render this device as well. Among the various vehicles, which will remove this bird from the world, when it needs to leave the world in order to enter another body, they turn to the most suitable one, which is, as well for the evolutionary harmony of other beings. For example, a cat which needs to live, but cannot find food for days and is hungry, will benefit from this event, and is well suited to the device mechanism above. Therefore, beings in duty start to descend into that hungry cat, and lead it to activities towards the eating of that bird. By this means, the cat will both feed itself and develop the capabilities it needs. The same influences also descend to the bird which needs to leave the world now, and drags the bird to the exact place of the cat. Under this influence, the bird cannot see the cat, and directly lands where the cat may easily reach it. The cat catches the bird and eats it. Now, the flux of the event has forked into another branch, that is, into another being's plan as well. However, let us leave it aside, and continue with the end of the bird. We have taken only a few of the life events the bird has gone through, from going out of the egg until it dies, and we have shown their cause and effect bonds, and devices which advance towards certain purposes in a perfect order. And other than this, it can have many other direct or indirect relations with plants, animals, and even humans in its particular communal plan. All of these continue without violating even a hair's breadth the frame of the general developmental harmony. Among them, besides the states which seem good, there are also apparently bad, disruptive, disordered states, such as, upon landing on the ground to feed, the poor bird is abruptly eaten by a monstrous cat, but after the knowledge above, what is observed here is not the disharmony but, quite the contrary, the most perfect mechanism of harmony and order. Thus, by this device, this bird will now come to the world in another body, which is superior and suitable for development. Now that being, after it left the world through the devices we mentioned above, in order to come into the world in another animal body, which has more abundant possibilities, again everything, parents, educators, environs, climate conditions, helpers etc., are prepared for it. Whatever is needed for the development of that being, they are put into effect by the being in duty to it, within various devices and arrangements. Arrangements and devices are adjusted to each other, in order to determine and assign its various relations with other beings, both from its own species and outside of its species who will enter the communal plan, which is automatic, of that being. For instance, if it is to be a dog, among the devices preparing the developmental possibilities in dog life, a man who needs to die by rabies is ensured to own that dog. All of these occur within the harmony of the great order which conducts the general evolution in the world. It is time for the dog to go. It will die. In accordance with the plan, he gets rabies. In the meantime, the man who is its owner has completed his deeds in the world, and becomes ready to leave the world in order to continue his development in new bodies. Again, in accordance with the device and plan, the rabid dog will bite him, he will become rabid, and so both will die. All of these are interconnected devices which advance in great harmony. As it is seen, that beings advance in life, which is apparently defective and at opposite sides of each other at first, in its relations with the environ in its simple life as an egg, then the stories of the cat in the bird's life and later the man in the dog's life, actually follow an ordered advance which is suitable to the harmony of general evolution and development. And this advance has caused an adult bird to gain the initial instincts belonging to the duty of motherhood, and has ensured that a cat lives on through the body of the bird and develops some capabilities. It has caused a man to get rabies through the body of the dog, and consequently, caused some results to occur in his individual and communal plan. All of these are for the occurrence of the most necessary states these beings have needed for their evolutions. So, this situation is the manifestation of a small part of the great harmony which belongs to the world. Although apparently contradictory to each other, these devices which are made to advance towards a single purpose, are actually of the necessities of the great evolutionary order, and consequently, of the universal harmony. We have taken that being when it was a simple egg. Then, after it has established infinite relations and bonds, in such innumerable bodies with other innumerable beings, and after it has increasingly expanded the scope of its field of connection, finally, one day, it has elevated into a human body, and acquired the power and ability to use it. Until that moment comes, it has created billions of events in the universe, through its billions of relations with its environment, and the exact, unfailing interconnectedness of these events puts into effect the most vivid observation of the ordered devices of this harmony. In the communal plans which a man will establish with its environment, family, friends, other people, society, nation, and eventually, directly or indirectly with the whole mankind, there will be uncountable relations and bonds influencing him. And these bonds and relations, which will continue influencing throughout all the lives of his humanness, will bring about consequences within innumerable devices and combinations which concern the whole mankind, and even the universe, and his next life, which is now universal, will continue on towards the unitary, in complete reconciliation with the devices and order of the universal harmony. Here, we have shown that, on the path of a simple bird egg which it will traverse until it becomes a universal being, there will be its communal plan which is connected to its individual plans, relations of that communal plan with the other communal plans within direct or indirect devices and orders. There will be various environmental and natural conditions, which are suitable to the necessities of all these individual and communal plans. These plans will be regulated by these conditions, a great number of beings in duty at very different degrees. Some completely automatic, some semi-comprehending and some with complete comprehension, will take on duties and work in these regulations, ordering and adapting, and above them, the beings of the higher and superior plan of duty, will conduct them under their directives and controls as administrators, in accordance with the directives of necessities they receive from the unitary. And eventually, a day will come when that simple egg will become a powerful being, who has taken a role like others in the administrative mechanism of the great plan of duty. Here, the force which sees that this simple bird egg will become a great being in duty in the far future, and which can regulate and determine the necessary preliminaries to ensure this higher state of it while it is still a simple egg, originates from this great harmony. That is, determining the initial preparations of a being's future states, which will occur after billions and billions of years, and executing these preparations towards their goal, without digressing even a hair's breadth, is only possible by the force of a great harmony. It is now clear that all these activities occur within the great harmony of the divine order, which intends evolution in the universe, and connects the universe into a single occurrence with all of its events. And despite their generally negative appearances on the face of the one-sided and barren comprehension of human beings, this order flows onwards within a complete and unswerving harmony.